Welcome everyone. My name is Lois Mauch and I'm the Director of Education for IHT. Lisa McVicker and I are going to be sharing a PowerPoint with you today. The name of our PowerPoint is Keeping Students Active, Motivated, and Accountable in an Online or Hybrid Program. I'm a native of Fargo, North Dakota. I have been the Director of Customer Success and Education for IHT for about 5 years now. And I have got my master's under Virginia Tech under the direction of Dr. George Bam. I'm a certified online instructor, and also I have been named elementary and middle school teacher of the year. So it was just a thrill to be able to work with Lisa on this PowerPoint presentation. She's done some awesome things with IHT and the online program using our app, and we're excited for everyone to hear the presentation. So Lisa, I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Lisa McVicker, not from North Dakota, as you noticed from my accent. I'm in Colorado. This is my 26th year of teaching, and all of a sudden I feel like a first-year teacher. This COVID pandemic has really caused us to rethink how we do everything, which is great. It's a challenge, and it's really helped me rethink what I do and why I do it. So enjoying Colorado.
Thank you, Lisa, for your introduction. And now we'll get started with our PowerPoint presentation. I'd like to start out by explaining what IHT does for us. IHT has a number of abilities, one of them being our wearable technology, which we're very excited about. The wearable technology can be used with an app, which allows for online or hybrid remote learning, whatever terminology you're using at your district. We have, the app is free, and the IHT heart rate monitor actually holds all the data within the monitor itself. So it can be programmed for students individually regarding their heart rate and their target heart rate zones. We also have an awesome selection of curriculum, both for the teacher and for students, which can be used also for online. All of our task sheets are PDF writable, and they can also be used as a Google Doc. And then we offer professional development, of course, and during these times, most of our professional development has been through Zoom, but we have done face-to-face trainings also. The purpose behind IHT and the vision is to empower our students to be able to have them self-manage their health. And really what we want them to do is take ownership. These heart rate monitors give them immediate formative feedback. And so while they're working out and doing the activity in your classes, they can actually look down and see what zone they're in, whether it's a blue, yellow, or red, which is yellow and red, moderate to vigorous. And they can see their heart rate. So just like video games, these heart rate monitors are a huge motivator for our students. Very, very popular with the students. And now I'd like Lisa to start her part of the presentation by sharing what she's done there in Fort Collins for her students and their online program.
All right, thanks Lois. Our school district, Poudre School District, requires an online option for any graduation requirement. So PE has long been an online course, and at our school we actually have quite a few really high flyers who are trying to take as many AP classes as they can. So we see a lot of them in summer school. So we created a summer school version of the online class to help those kids free up their schedule to take some of those classes that they were really excited about taking. They also, however, happen to be the kids who maybe don't get a ton of moderate to vigorous physical activity. So we were thinking about them when we changed up our course a little bit. At our school, we have about 2,000 students. We offer a variety of classes. Our PE1 is kind of our introduction class. We offer team sports, several levels of weights classes, adventure PE, which you can see in the picture. We're out shooting some archery. We also offer yoga and dance and an integrated physical education class as well. So a pretty big variety. The curriculum that we use for our physical, we really made the online course, the physical education one, the intro class, because we saw that was the biggest need for us. And so we like it because it's allowed us to use it in a variety of settings. We made the sudden transition to online and distance learning last spring, and we're able to make that move a lot easier because of what we had set up in our online course. We are in October heading to hybrid, and so it's allowed us to be able to make the switch from online, all online, to a hybrid, and probably back to online at some point in the near future. We also use the class set of monitors in our face-to-face classes in all of our physical education classes.
So Lisa,
Yes, ma'am.
recently IHT was able to put up a personal fitness unit, so to speak, and that is available, as I said earlier, on PDF and also on Google Docs. Have you had a chance to use that personal fitness curriculum yet at all with your students?
Yes, we actually have been using that, and we actually broke it into some mini lessons. And honestly, I wish that we would have had that when we were designing our online course, because that was so similar to what we spent hours and hours developing. And to find out you had it right there and available, we would have loved to have been able to access that as we were thinking through that. But yes, we have been using those and breaking them into little mini lessons that fit into our all online courses at this point, but hybrid coming up soon.
Great.
Each week we can set a goal for students. We set ours more as a weekly goal, and we set that at 300 minutes for the week, which was an hour each day. And we asked them to make at least 60% of that time in the yellow and red, or the moderate to vigorous categories. So that's their goal for each week. Students pick up their heart rate monitor, they check one out from us. We have a little technology agreement that they say they'll keep it safe, they'll take good care of it. And we put in their data so that it actually comes up with them a variety of activities. They pick our group, which we have an online summer school group, and now we have our regular school group for them set up already. And the activities we have set up in ours actually match. We've made a little fitness log for them, and we've actually made the activities in the app match up exactly with our log, so students can just select it and upload the details of their workout into that little spreadsheet.
Hey, Lisa, I just want to add a little bit here. I know that when you design your activities on the IHT Spirit system, you're able to put in a description, and within that description, you're able to put a link. So if there was a link that you wanted your students to view before you actually had them do their workout, you're able to do that with your students also. And along with that, you can include any lesson plans that you have in the PDF. So if you were to do a geocaching unit and you wanted to put in a lesson plan or possibly a map that you want them to follow, they would be able to see all of that information on the app prior to choosing their group and their activity. So I just wanted to add that little bit.
So at the end of each student's workout, we've established a goal, as you can see on the left, for that activity. And then it's actually going to give the student their result on the right-hand side. And so they get instant feedback about whether or not they met the goal for the activity. And as well as they're getting the constant feedback from the watch face, letting them know what their heart rate is and what color. If they're yellow and red, that's what we're asking them to aim for. So it's really good feedback for them. They also, on their profile, they have all of their personal data that we've input into the system, and it actually configures with our student information system. So a lot of that is loaded. We're just loading their details in their height and weight, because their birth date and name are already in there. So it's great feedback for kids to be able to see that activity complete. And we actually have them use that as well as their heart rate data graph as their evidence of their workout. When they put that into their log, that is what they actually upload for us.
And your students have also had the opportunity to choose an emoji when they're done with their workout, one of 5
Yes.
different faces, and then also comment. Have you had them use that email feature with your kids?
We haven't used that because we have them answer a reflection question in their log, and not all of our kids have a monitor. Some of our kids are using other devices. And so we've not made that the only way to do that. But yes, I often see kids entering their emojis, which is good. It's immediate reflection on how they feel about that workout for that day.
Perfect.
So the online resources, I honestly wish we would have known much longer ago about them because they're really valuable resources. And I feel like we have spent a lot of time developing lessons that are so similar. And so it's a great resource. We've used a lot of them just as little mini lessons in our online version of the class. And so they're really great. They're all tied to standards. They're just very well done and easily put into Google Classroom, which a lot of us are using. We actually, our online program has really changed and adapted over the years. Our previous version, basically there wasn't really a lot of accountability. Your mom and dad signed off that you did X number of hours of whatever and you got your credits and did a few lessons. And so when we redid that, we tried to use technology to build in that personal accountability for students. And so we tried to include some different varieties of technology. And we found out pretty quickly a lot of the apps that we had suggested or given kids as resources didn't really give much information. It made it hard to know what they were doing or how hard they were working. And they definitely didn't give that level of feedback. So we really, really encourage our kids, highly encourage, we can't require it, but we very, very highly encourage them to use the IHT app. It's so much easier than most of the apps that other students were choosing. And so it became apparent to us that it's the best tool that we could give kids to use.
And part of the reason behind that, I'm sure, is because when the students are done using the app, all the information goes to you as a teacher. So even
Yes.
if you're having other students make up or using the app that aren't in your class, they also would be able to use it during your supervision and it would end up going to their actual teacher that it belongs to. So I can see where that would be a benefit for most schools to be able to have that information sent right to the teacher. You agree?
It's great. And it also, you can set it to send an email to their parents. So their parents are actually getting real-time feedback on what they're doing as well. But yes, those emails and that constant, I have the ability to view their information, their workout data, and it's great. Sometimes I like to just pull them up and look at their sessions just to kind of see what the patterns are and be able to give really specific feedback to kids about, hey, I noticed that, you know, you're spending a lot of time in the zones that we're asking you to, or hey, I noticed that it's not really happening. What are some changes that you might make? So it's really valuable information for me as a teacher to be able to access. So our expectations in the regular class, like right now during our school year, is that they're engaging in at 60 minutes of moderate to vigorous physical activity per day, because our schedule, we meet every day right now. We also include fitness assessments. We're using discussion boards really to try to address some of that SEL stuff, which is so different from being in person. So we're using some of these discussion boards to try to help us build in some of that social emotional learning that is a different version from what we usually are doing. And then definitely building skills and knowledge in a variety of things, not just physical health, but in safety and self-care and a lot of other options.
So Lisa, again, I'm going to ask you with the SEL and mental health, do you find that your students have an opportunity to also control their emotions while they're working out? They sometimes might be frustrated or have high anxiety moments going on, and they can see with the use of the heart rate monitor that they can actually control those things, bring them back down, and focus better on their workout that they're supposed to be doing. I know you've had some experience with some of that stuff in your district, correct?
Yes, we do have. We have several groups of our counselors using them for that self-regulation purpose and really helping kids get in touch with using their own skills and abilities to help kind of calm themselves and find that way to control their emotions. I see it more from my viewpoint of a lot of times in kids' logs, they talk about that they are not feeling great. And then afterwards, they do notice a big difference. And that's been really our focus with the sudden transition to distance learning and being online, as we know it's causing a lot of mental health issues, a lot of stress for students. And so we're really pushing the activity as really it's self-care for not just physical, but for your mental and emotional well-being and I feel like kids really, we are seeing that does make a difference, and they do notice how much better they feel and how much different they feel at the end. So I think it's been really valuable for them to have that. Things that we've done, we used to use a different program to do our fitness assessments. All the Cooper Institute stuff is now in IHT, and it's so nice because it used to be we input data, but there was no way to ever get data back out or do any sort of reporting or give kids really a snapshot of where they were and be able to do that over time. So having the fitness assessments done and being able to use the zone monitors while we're doing those in class just helps build that portfolio of information that we have to give feedback to students. We can look at students, we can adjust their max heart rate or the resting heart rate using those zones to help us get a little more accurate target zone for them to be aiming for. And so that's been really helpful. We do ask them, we do some cardio testing, we do some muscular strength and endurance testing, as well as flexibility. And we do have our students do height and weight. We also actually, while they're in person, have them use bioelectrical impedance, a little handheld, to help them actually look at body fat and compare it to the body composition report that's automatically generated.
Wow, that's really wonderful, Lisa. So I suppose in talking about an online course versus a hybrid, with a hybrid course, you're able to see the kids once in a while. So that's probably when you actually complete a lot of the fitness assessments. Am I right about that?
Yes, that is actually our plan moving into hybrid, is to be able to do that. You know, you're kind of on the honor system if kids don't have a zone monitor when they're doing their fitness testing. So that is our plan, to do that when they are with us in the hybrid model, and then to use the asynchronous time to let them do some workouts on their own and be able to document them using heart rate technology.
Perfect. And then along with the heart rate monitor, the pacer and the shuttle run they're also automated in IHT, so that they automatically count laps or count the mile time for your kids when they're doing them. They're also going to give you a VO2 along with the number of laps that they did, or the mile time. So we know that VO2 is a great indicator of our kids being healthy and in shape all throughout their whole body. So that's another big advantage for that program. Thank you for sharing that.
You bet. So things we're looking at, we've already actually made the first change, is what we did with our log was the menu of options. We actually made that match exactly what is listed in IHT. So when kids fill out their log, they see the exact same activity choices. And for each of those, we've set individual goals per activity for how much time should be in that moderate to vigorous range. And so that's one thing we've already made a change. We've started utilizing the online materials as sort of mini lessons for that PE1 class, that basic introduction. because they're so easy to use. And honestly, we wish we would have had them much sooner. We would have been using them a lot sooner had we done that. So the other change we're looking at making is we have a second online course, which is called PEB, which is the second level. And what we're trying to do is make that a little more individualized approach so that students can choose activities that get them up and moving. Again, there's that accountability. We have technology, we have heart rate monitors to help them document their activity each day. And so we're really looking at just that, again, that focus on how to make working out and getting into that target zone, making that a real life application so that they can take that skill forward with them. So some of the things we have seen, and I just talked about this a minute ago, is I feel like when students are using the zone, they really get that application level of, okay, this is what it feels like when I'm working in that moderate to vigorous range. This is what it feels like. And so that is helpful for students. That's the real life application. So they know how hard they should be working in order to promote that heart health that we know is so important for them lifelong. And so we feel like that really is helpful for them to apply the knowledge and be able to get feedback. In the spring and March, it made that sudden transition to distance learning. We were able to tap into IHT and the online system that we'd already had set up in order to help kids track their activity for the week and be able to turn that in. We are using it now as we're in a distance only mode, and we're going to continue using that as we move into hybrid for the days when kids are not with us, for them to be able to track that activity and to be able to give them meaningful feedback when they're not with us. So I think that's a huge benefit for us and for our students. And we talked about a little bit about our journaling takes place in a separate format since not every student uses the zone. We wish they did, but not everyone is. But we know that it's a powerful tool for our kids that do access that. And we know the value of journaling and reflecting after the workout. So we feel like that is a huge piece and a really powerful tool that we can continue to utilize.
So Lisa, we have the vision of the heart rate monitor on the child, and we know that you can charge these monitors in school. How do the students charge them at home?
So our students, we obviously have the big cases where we can charge them all for our classroom sets, but for every student that checks out a monitor, they just get a little personal charger. It just is a magnet that sticks on the back and it goes into a USB so they can plug it into a computer or any charger that they have. And so they can keep that charged on their own, which is awesome. We actually bought personal chargers for our classroom set in case we have many more students who would like to use them as one-to-one. The versatility of being able to turn those into one-to-one heart rate monitors is an amazing resource that we now have. So these are some of the testimonials from our summer students who are they use it the most often in non-COVID times. But some of the things they really like are that it's easy. You can download it to your phone, which almost every kid has. They liked that they could customize some of the workouts based on what the goal was for their intensity. They love that it syncs and it summarizes their activities. It emails them the summary, which is what we ask them to use as their evidence of their workout. They do appreciate the continuous feedback by being able just to look down and say, oh gosh, I probably need to work a little harder, or gosh, I'm really going hard. And they appreciate that. They talked about it being easy to see if they met goals for their fitness plan that they had set. Many of them are working on their cardiovascular fitness, and being able to use that to support them is really a good tool. And one of them talked about how it made their workouts more effective because they knew how many calories they could burn, they had burned, and they could actually look and see the evidence of how hard they worked. And I think that's really rewarding for kids when they can look at that and see that sense of accomplishment of, I did that. That was me.
That's wonderful. Yes. And when you put the height and weight of the students in the program, it does actually give you calories burned also.
Mhm.
Well, Lisa, you have got just an amazing program going there at Fort Collins and Poudre School District, and it is just a pleasure to work with you always. Audience, this has just been a great presentation, and I appreciate all your feedback. We do, and your comments and questions are welcome at any time. Again, Lisa, you're a rock star.
Well, thank you, Lois. And I just want to say thank you. If you have not worked with IHT, the customer service is beyond amazing. Lois has answered 1,000 phone calls from me and emails from me, and everything from I forgot how to, even though she's told me several times, I still forgot how to do this. And they're always so fabulous about working with us. And Lois is great. Lots of times she just gives me ideas on things. Hey, have you tried this? What are you thinking about this? So I can't tell you how much I appreciate it as a teacher, that the support and the resources and the things that you give to us, and just the amazing customer service. So many times you buy something and you never hear from anyone again, and you guys could not be more helpful, and the support you give us is just amazing. So thank you.